Hello everybody, welcome to 11.2 replication of DNA. So this assignment has two parts, and the second part can be a little bit tricky, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of help with this one. So you guys are going to be turning in two different files to this assignment in order to get credit. You can see that part one here, right, is to complete a video recap. Right, and then part two down here is to complete a little reading essentials file. I'm changing the structure of those a little bit to give you guys a little bit more support. So we'll go through and we'll take a look at that here in just a minute. So for part one, right, there's a video recap file right here. All right, and this one, you wouldn't be expected to know how to do this immediately, right? You don't have the information. So there's a video that goes with this. It's from Amoeba Sisters. They do wonderful work. All right, and I put the link down here in number 2. Some people are having trouble with direct links. All right, so if that direct link doesn't work, if that doesn't open up YouTube, all right, I also put the entire URL there as well, so you can copy that and paste it into Safari. The intention here is that you watch this video. I believe it's about 8 minutes long. Yep, 8 minutes, 11 seconds. All right, and then this is going to get you all the information that you need in order to fill in this sheet. All right, this might take you, half an hour or so. So maybe you want to do that on one day and then save the rest of this assignment for the next day, right? Hopefully you're not doing everything Friday evening, right? Hopefully you're spacing this out a little bit. This gives you a really good kind of higher level overview of DNA replication. And then we're going to go in and we're going to get some details. So for part 2, there's a reading essentials file. Right? And it looks like this. This is a little bit different than what they've looked like in the past. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to Notability so that I can write on it. All right, so the first page is instructions on how to do a close read. All right, always a good idea to mark the text, right? This is something that I did, all the way through college, right? I still do this. It's extremely helpful, especially for really content-heavy readings, like what we're going to see here today. Step 1 is to number the paragraphs. Actually, I already did that for you, so you don't need to worry about this part here. Right, that's already done. Number 2 is to circle key terms, cited authors, other essential words and numbers. Some of these are already highlighted, right, but you probably have a couple more that you want to go through and circle as well. And then number 3 is to underline really important information relevant to our reading purpose. Right, and I will give you an example of doing this through the first paragraph. Pages 2 and 3 are like a little summary thing that I'm going to have you fill out as well. This is kind of a trickier read, so I want to spend plenty of time on this. I don't want to, I don't want to rush through this. So I'm going to go down to the reading here, and this is where it starts. This one has 9 paragraphs. It's 2 pages, right, so it's a little bit shorter than some of the other ones, but it's a little tricky. So I think this is really good to practice close reading. So if you look at this first paragraph right here, I've already labeled it paragraph number 1. And it says DNA is the instruction manual for a living thing. Well, I've just seen a key term right there, DNA. Right, so that's a term you're probably familiar with, right? But it is a key term. It's super important for this chapter, so I'm going to go ahead and circle it. And then I have some information really important to that term right here. It tells me that DNA is the instruction manual for living things. Let's see, each time one of your cell divides, your DNA is copied. That sounds pretty important to me. So if we're going to do mitosis or meiosis, right, if we're going to duplicate our cells, we need another copy of DNA. Right? If I look at the title, well, that's what this is going to be talking about. Right? It's going to be talking about how that duplication happens, how that DNA is replicated. That way each cell has its own copy of the instruction manual. I might underline that as well. I don't know if that's maybe as important as the other two, but I'm going to do it anyway. On the lines below, list some items that come with instructions. So this would just be a quick brainstorm. Right? I just put together a trampoline for my daughter a couple of days ago. Right? And that had a lot of directions for me. Right, so that trampoline was an item that came with instructions, right? And then you could just brainstorm a couple more. Maybe you can get 4 or 5 different items that would have instructions. Right? If I come back up here, right, we've done this for that first paragraph, right? I circled the key terms. I underlined the important information, right? That part's done. I don't need to do anything else on this first page. On the second page, for paragraph number 1, right, I have a column that says read and a column that says recall. Right, it says on the read side, what questions are the author trying to answer in that paragraph? And then on the recall side, what are the important ideas that answer that question? All right, so for this first paragraph, right, what was the author trying to do? Well, he's trying to tell us what DNA is. So over here, where it says paragraph number 1, I would say that my important question, right, would be what is DNA? And then for my recall side, we would go through and say, well, what important information did we get? All right, well, that's what we underlined. All right, that's why we underlined, so it's nice and easy to find. So we know that it's the instruction manual for every living thing, and each cell needs its own copy. So here on my recall side, I could say that it is the blueprint for living things. And then I could also say that each cell needs a copy. Beautiful. All right, this one's pretty short. Some of the other paragraphs might have 3 or 4 bullet points instead of the 2 for the first one. So you'll just go through and do this for the remaining 8 paragraphs that I didn't do. There's a couple of questions over here to the side. Once you've done the close read, those should hopefully be pretty easy to answer. Like always, if you get stuck or have any questions or concerns, shoot me an email, right, or send me a message in Canvas, and I'd be happy to either answer you, virtually, or we can set up a little Zoom session and talk in person. Okay, thank you. Have a great